On today's show, we're going to be talking about updated firmware for the Atari 2600 Plus. Finally, some news from Polymega. New DLC for Atari 50. Atari Super Pocket. And GenXGrownUp agrees with me. All coming up now. Hi everyone, and welcome to Dadisajoke Retro Rockin' Gamer episode 56 of the Weekend Report. Hi everybody, and welcome to November. And also don't forget your coffees, because this is going to be a long one today. Okay, let's see here. So just to update everybody who doesn't know, there's an official update now for Firmware 2.0 for the Atari 2600 Plus, which is available on the Atari site. So it's no longer, you can still get it from the Atari Age forums. You can get all that information and download all that stuff. But also, Atari has created a page on their website where you can get all the information there and download the drivers. So there you go, folks. If you're looking for an update, or you're interested in updating your 2600 Plus, by all means, all the instructions are there. Yes, I agree with a lot of people out there. The update process is a little tedious and it needs to be updated to be more streamlined, because I am having problems with it, but that's another story for another day. Let's see here. Some more DLC coming for Atari 50. And this one's going to be called the first or the original hardware or console wars. And back in the day, me being an Atari fan, I hated the Intellivision people. But back then there was no social media, so you had to do it face to face. So there were some tense times and tense conversations about that. But you know what? We were all friends and stuff, so that kind of went by the wayside. But lots of games included, lots of Intellivision or M Network games. So there's some really cool updates for it, and I'm looking forward to the videos and hearing, sort of what the people in the industry had to say about that compared to us fans. So that's really cool. I'm really enjoying it. I think that's coming out on November 8th, if I'm not, if I'm probably wrong, but yeah, roughly around there. Let's see here. The Atari Super Pocket is out and about, and people have it in their grimy little hands, and it looks like it's a big hit. Not only does it have a ton of Atari games pre-installed on the unit, but also how can you miss with having the Evercade cartridge in the back, so you can upgrade, or not upgrade, but get new games for it and what have you. So it's a very cool, and the price is very reasonable. I think it's around $50 here in Canada, or $60. So that's very cool about that. And that's something, it's on my wish list, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Let's see here. Oh, also the big news that we were talking about 2 episodes ago was about Polymega. Now they released some information, and there's going to be a physical Polymega collection coming out. Now their system software is going to be updated to version 1.132. So what they're saying here, let's read here. Polymega Collection is an ongoing series of important classic and contemporary games on physical media, playable exclusively on Polymega, says Polymega. Our editions include the original title game, its internal releases, as well as additional examples of the game that were influenced the work, and those which were eventually inspired by it. The first 2 games in the collection are going to be Asteroids and Karate Champ, and both are available for purchase today. and they'll be shipping within a week. And this was, when they said today, this was part of the announcement last week, or this past week. Each release includes one or more discs that are compatible with Polymega. The first is the primary game in DVD format. Additionally, some releases include bonus game discs that can be played on original game consoles as well. Each release is region-free and will work with Polymega regardless where you are or what language you speak, which is very, very cool. Unlike most modern game releases, Polymega Collection game includes carefully crafted visual comparisons, reversible slipcovers, OB spines for international collectors, and more. And exclusively for early adopters, a limited edition Polymega collection pin is included with each release. The best thing about Polymega is that in many cases we're bringing games that Polymega that would be we're bringing games to Polymega that would be otherwise unplayable using an element module such as arcade games. Of course, we're also providing support for several new systems that might not otherwise be compatible with Polymega. Now, that is the key. That key. Of course, we're also providing support for several new systems that might not otherwise be compatible with Polymega. Now, because Atari owns a portion of Polymega, or sort of Polymega, what do you think, people? Let's comment this on the comments below. So it looks like what I talked about 2 episodes ago, which I'm gonna add a link below on the last episode that I talked about that. So this is very cool. So they're going to be providing support for several new systems. So meaning that you'll be able to get that whatever device, plug it into your Atari VCS. Now I'm speculating, but I mean it's there in black and white. You just have to read in between the lines, and having support for that, which I think is very cool. Not only does Polymega have an avenue for their own stuff, they're adding it to other systems. Now, the other systems, like I said, it has to be, in my opinion, the Atari VCS. Now, for me, and this references back to the previous video that I made about Activision. Now, if they come out with a USB device that has a cartridge holder or connector that you can plug into your Atari VCS, and you'd be able to plug in your Atari 2600 game or your Atari 7800 game and have it transferred to the Atari VCS, and then it uses that with its built-in emulation to play the game. Now, again, I'm going to reference back to what I said to the last episode, was now I can finally get my Activision games on the Atari 2600 game, or the Atari VCS, which is very, very cool if that happens. And that's when this all came to fruition at the beginning, and Polymega was talking about it, or Polymega was talking about it. That was the one thing I wanted to do, is like install Pitfall 2, Mega Mania, all the Activision games for the 2600 Plus, and have them on the system playable at any time. And I think that is, so instead of Atari buying the rights to all the Activision 2600 games or the early console games, this is a nice way to skirt around that and be able to play those games on the Atari VCS, which is very, very cool. And I really enjoy. I'm thinking that's the coolest thing. That's what's got me really excited, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. And again, to sort of tie everything in, let's see here. GenXGrownUp, for all you guys who know him and watch his videos and stuff like that, he also made a video just, I guess, a couple of days ago about the same thing I talked about, how, Atari needs Activision. It's plain and simple. It's one of their best third-party developers, the cream of a crop from Atari that's separated from Atari and created their own company still to this day have the best games, in my opinion. They put a lot of the Atari games to shame. It's this, again, my opinion, but that's how I feel about it. Yeah, so that's very cool. So let's see here. Asteroids is going to be $40 and includes the following games: Orbit Arcade. Orbit, I don't think I played that. Gravatar Arcade and the 2600. Lunar Lander Arcade, another great game. Asteroids Arcade 2600 and the 7800. I really like the 7800 version with their sort of 3D effect with the asteroids. I really like that. Asteroids Deluxe Arcade, Super Asteroids and Missile Command for the Lynx, and Space Duel Arcade. And then for Karate Champ, which is going to be $40, is going to have Karate Champ for the arcade, NES, and FDS. What the hell's FDS? Somebody correct me. Karate Champ PvP Arcade. Karate Champ was my brother's favorite game. He loved that thing. Little funny story. God, when we were kids, my parents dragged us to Atlantic City, and I wasn't old enough to get into the casino, and definitely my brother wasn't. So all we did was just go around to different arcades. It was great. Back in the 80s, every casino had an arcade, and it wasn't just a little one, it was a huge one. And we were at the Trump Taj Mahal, and they had a Karate Champ machine. And then one of the kids there that saw us playing the game says, "Oh, by the way, if you kick the machine a certain way, you'll get free credits." So we ended up calling it Kick Credit. Spent a couple hours just kicking in credits. It was awesome. Fighter History for the arcade SNES, SNES, SFC, and Fighter History Dynamite and Karnov's Revenge Arcade AES, NGCD, and SAT. Yeah, so that's very cool, and I'd like to see what else they have in mind. It's amazing that what I like about is how these other companies are coming up with creative ways to give us retro games. Playmonji's doing it. Digital Eclipse is doing it with their Atari, with the Atari 50 release that they have. They also made that Karate, or was it Karateka or something like that? Again, don't remember, but it's very cool. Let's see here. Playmonji is also working on some world-leading video game companies to bring more titles to the Polymega collection. In addition to this, System Software 1.132 is also here and brings the following improvements: new and improved visual display filter with multi-depth scanline modes, an improved composite filter, and new RF and black and white modes. And this is probably for all you CRT nerds. So you can plug in the device into your modern TV and make it look like a CRT. Hundreds of new Atari 2600 and 7800 games have been added to the Polymega database to get you ready for the release of the upcoming Atari Pro module. There it is, folks. Details coming soon. The Atari Pro module. That's the device I've been talking about. Ability to permanently restore most of the original PM01 pack-in games that were removed in the previous update. Bug fixes for latency issues, unwanted noise effects, and more. I hate when they do "and more." Anyway, so that is really exciting. I mean, I don't think I have anything else. We'll sip coffee. Need it. That's good. Well, guys, that is my full report. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover today. Yeah. By all means, if you made it this far, please like, comment, subscribe, all that other crap that everybody, tells you to do. Just because I'm a small YouTube channel that needs a little bit of help, and any help will be appreciated. So if you have any comments or questions, please post them below, and we'll go from there. So Thanks for hanging around, and we'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye now.